So he has superpowers, and his job is by way of these miracles. Here I come to save the day. Mighty, you remember Mighty Mouse, don't you? By means of these miracles, he has the power to draw every man to the dying God who's resurrected. That's what the Bible's telling you. Even in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy 13, again, 13, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, plural, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. So God was warning about a false prophet. Let's see. Steve Gerber, Jim Mooney. These would be Roy Thomas, editor. These would be, oh, and can't forget Charles Atlas. These would be guys who work for the false prophet. They're telling you a story to try to lead you to wanting the Justice League to come, the Avengers to show up, these other gods. And God said, don't hearken to him. Don't listen to this stuff, because I'm using them to prove you whether or not you're going to follow me or not. See, when we say we're going to serve God, serve Christ, God says, okay, I'm going to prove that. We'll see if you really mean what you say. So he allows false prophets to teach the other side so that we'll go, you know what? No. I'm not going to fall for that. I'm going to stick with the Word of God. And that's what God is doing. Notice in Matthew 24, getting ready for the coming of Christ, the second coming, Jesus said, many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. False prophets, plural. Matthew 24:24, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible they shall deceive the very elect. This is what Superman and the Avengers and Mithrandir and Harry Potter being taught in the church is exactly what it's doing. False Christ. Superman is not the Jesus of the Bible. It's another Jesus. And the false prophets feeding into these churches. Here, we prefabricated the next 4 sermons you'll preach. Go play some golf. Go do whatever it is you want to do all week long instead of study the Bible. We wrote a sermon for you. All you got to do is stand up, show the movie clips, say what it is we tell you to say. Everybody will applaud you and put money in your offering plate. And the preacher goes, and this is the good life here. It's the false prophet system. By showing people false Christs, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Superman, Mithrandir, showing them false Christ, false prophets are teaching great signs and wonders. That's what these superheroes do. It's not possible to deceive the very elect, or the word very means truly. The truly elect. But those church fakers, they're falling for it. Right and left. Let's go back now to the 1800s, sort of see how all of this stuff came about. You had Charles Darwin introducing a concept that no one had really thought of. See, everybody had just accepted what the Bible said, that we were created to be special and unique in God's image. We were created on the 6th day. The whole universe was created in 6 days, and God rested on the 7th. That's what everybody had. And then Charles Darwin shows up and says, no, it's not that way. I believe he taught evolution, that it took billions and billions of years. And over the course of time, mankind started out as nothing. And then he had a paradigm shift, and he grew legs and arms. And then he wallowed around in the half ocean, half land with legs and arms, and another paradigm shift, and he had lungs. And then another paradigm shift, because he saw food up in the tree he couldn't get to. He learned how to climb trees. And then another paradigm shift, he saw that it was better on the land, so he came down on the land. And then he had another paradigm shift, and he learned how to make weapons and kill animals and dig ditches. And then he made computers, and then mankind is on the verge of making his own evolution, his own paradigm shift. That's what Charles Darwin released into this world. Now, we've talked about her. Probably the most ugly woman in the world. And if you're this ugly, you should really serve God, because that's all you've got going. Helena Blavatsky, Madame Blavatsky, she taught evolution, but she hated Darwin. She called Darwin an idiot, something like that. Because Darwin said, now this just all happened by scientific chance, random efforts taking place. Blavatsky came out on the mystical side and said, it was evolution, all right, but it wasn't chance. The gods have been taking over, leading us into the next paradigm shift. So she believed in 7 root races, and that over time these races evolved into a higher being. We are in the, I can't remember what she said, but we're awaiting what Hitler was looking for, the Aryan race. We're waiting for the next step in man's evolution. That's what Darwin released. That's what Blavatsky started telling everybody. So that one day we won't be just humans anymore. We'll be gods. That concept inspired, and I believe in inspiration, I believe devils inspire people to do the things they're doing, to write the books they're writing, to conceive of the comics that they're drawing, and to write rock and roll songs. You remember a group called Styx? You know what Styx is? Not, 1, 2, pick up sticks. Styx is the river that flows through hell. I have a theory in the Bible that it's called the river Euphrates. Can't prove it yet, but I think it's there. But anyway, this mythological river that flows through hell is Styx. That's where they got their name from. And they wrote a song called The Serpent is Rising. Here's the words. In the abyss of space, from the center of time. Sounds like Krypton to me. The abyss. That's the pit. That's the bottomless pit. Chaos. A Superman race moves the serpent to climb. The journey has lasted 7 ages. That's where he got it from. Got it from Blavatsky. Or more. Life after life, reincarnation, must pass through the door. The secret revealed when you leave your cave, that is, stop right here, that's Superman coming out of Smallville, the cave. Now he's going to be revealed as Superman. Is a glory of thunder and life from the grave. The serpent is rising, uncoiling in your spine, bringing you light from the depths of your mind. So these concepts that were birthed in the 1800s clearly were seeded and have now coming to fruition right here in front of our very eyes. So that even rock and roll is all supposed to be about sex and drugs and whiskey drinking, right? No. There is an occult agenda in these songs to bring people to the next paradigm shift, the next stage of evolution. The false prophets are writing songs. And they're drawing comic books. And they're writing novels. And then they're teaching doctrines. And they're doing it, let me get out Leonard Sweet here, they're doing it in the church too. And everybody but the very elect is falling for it. Along the same time of Blavatsky, you had a fellow by the name of Eliphas Levi. Eliphas Levi was a major occultist. This guy was a nasty guy. I have some books by Blavatsky. I've kind of looked at some things in there. I won't read Crowley. I've read Marilyn Ferguson. I won't read Crowley. He was nasty, mean, bad. I've got books in PDF form by Levi. I don't look at them too much. Eliphas Levi, he's the guy that came up with this famous, and we use this all the time because it's a picture of the beast, this famous picture of Baphomet. Baphomet, as you remember, is a superhero because he has wings. Look at his wings, okay? And he's got horns, like Magog, okay? He's got horns like Magog. And he's got fire shooting out of his head for some reason. He's got a pentagram, remember the number 5. He's got male and female parts. That's kind of gross. Stop right here. Now we're seeing in the comic books the transgendered and sodomite characters, male and female together in the same body. So he's half human, half God, beast and angel and human all together. And Eliphaz Levi is the guy who drew this image. Did so, I believe, by inspiration. Now, Eliphaz Levi got into some serious magic. And he was trying to conjure this very, very powerful demon or devil. He was trying to conjure him. And he worked for a long time. He had this special room built, and he had this special script all worked out. He had power thoughts written down on papers, what he had. Put himself inside of a magic circle with these candles. Notice the image of Baphomet in the background. And he conjures this very, very, very powerful devil. And he looks amazingly like Yoda. Conjure me, you will not. That's where George Lucas got Yoda from. This extremely bad, nasty, powerful magic devil that Eliphaz Levi conjured up. I mean, look at it. That's Yoda. Ha, 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 ha. Where did the name Yoda come from? There's a Hebrew letter called Yod. It's in part of what they call the Tetragrammaton, the Yod-He-Va-He of Jehovah. Here's a quote from Manly Hall. In modern masonry, the deity is symbolized by an equilateral triangle, its three sides representing the primary manifestations of the Eternal One, that's Neo, who is himself represented as a tiny flame called by the Hebrews Yod. Yod, Yoda, this devil that was conjured up by Eliphaz. Are you seeing a pattern here? There was an occult explosion. The seeds of occult ideas were sown all over the world, and now the fruition of those seeds is coming to pass, and we're seeing them come right in front. Here's a graphic of this Yoda, this Yod inside the triangle. It's like a picture of the mark of the beast. Here's a picture of Aleister Crowley. He's got a mark on his forehead, which is the symbol of the all-seeing eye, the Yod in the triangle with the lights coming out. Notice he's got a triangle over his head. Okay? Notice he's doing this. Okay? You know what this means? Sons of God, daughters of men. That's what he's portraying here. He is Baphomet. He is the fusion of these. He is Superman's son. That's who he is. And he has godlike powers. Aleister Crowley wrote the book Magic. See the symbol on there, the two serpents, DNA with the third thing coming out of it, the solar god. The magic of Aleister Crowley, the Golden Dawn, the works of Aleister Crowley. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a book in there called Justice League Dark, in the Dark. It was a graphic novel based upon the ideas and concepts of Aleister Crowley. I'm telling you, these guys who write these comic books know exactly what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They have learned. They've been trained well. And I'll show you that in a little bit. One of the followers, and we've talked a lot about Aleister Crowley. I won't get much into him. We have a video called The Prophets of the New Order, if you want to go look at that. I teach a little bit more about Crowley and Crowley's influence. The Beatles put Crowley on their Sgt. Pepper's album. His picture's on there as one of their influences. All right? Anyway, Crowley had some disciples. One was a guy by the name of Jack Parsons. If you don't know who that is, Jack Parsons was the guy who basically is the father of modern rocketry. Jack Parsons, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, some people say that it's Jack Parsons Lab, because he was instrumental in getting the United States up and going in its rocket. Everybody say, well, it's not rocket science. Well, to Jack Parsons, it was. Jack Parsons is the guy who came up with the formula that would actually send a rocket up into the